Alrighty, so we are going to begin our journey together in Cuesta, New Mexico. This is northern New Mexico. I booked an Airbnb for Callum and I on the day that he arrived from England. As you can tell, it's very eclectic, very cute, very much a glamping experience. I think I prefer glamping to camping, to be honest. Lovely. Northern New Mexico is a lot chillier than where I live in Albuquerque, and so I found it super duper cold, and it kind of forced us to bundle up and get really cozy on our first night together, which was lovely and quiet and romantic. Last night, we cooked dinner on the grill and we bundled up in blankets and we sat outside under the stars. And the sky here was so expansive and bright. You could see the Milky Way, which was insane, and we also saw so many shooting stars. For a moment, I felt like a little overwhelmed with how tiny I felt being outside in the open sky. It's honestly been a while since I've sat at night outside, so that was nice to go do that again. And I forgot how special and intimidating in some ways it can be. I truly felt so tiny. In ways, it was good because it made my problems shift out of perspective. Like, it made me see them in such a different light, because when you notice how little you are, it's like, wow, what you're going through doesn't have to be that big. And at the same time, in that smallness, I was just like, I'm so little. What am I doing? Like, is anything that I do meaningful? Does anything that I do matter? And I just heard this voice in my head, and it said, you are so small and we love you so much. And I was like, wow, okay. I felt really held in my smallness. So in ways it shifted things out of perspective, and in other ways it shifted new things into perspective. So we woke up early the next day and I filmed a Qigong video. And so, for those of you who don't know, Qigong is a form of Chinese medicine, and it helps us release stagnation in our body so that we can replenish ourselves with healthy qi. Qi meaning life force energy. It's an excellent practice if you carry any physical pain or stress in your body, or if you just want to get more in tune with yourself. And so I highly recommend it. I have a couple videos of Qigong walking you through how to do it and just different routines on my channel, so feel free to check those out. We had a slow morning after that, kind of just taking our time, enjoying what time we had left at the Airbnb. We had breakfast and some tea together. After we left the Airbnb, we headed over to a fish hatchery, and we spent like 30 minutes feeding the biggest rainbow trout you have ever seen, and it was so entertaining. We started our journey back to Albuquerque, but before we did that, check out this stream. Check out these frozen hanging particles on the tree branches. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so before we made our way back to Albuquerque, we made a pit stop in Taos. This is the beautiful Taos Pueblo. It is roughly 1,000 years old, and it's believed to have been constructed at around 1000 to 1450 AD. We had a beautiful tour of the Pueblo, met this sweet angel baby, and then made our way back to Albuquerque, where we began our next journey. So I actually ended up buying a drum from Taos. There is this man and a wife, and this man hand makes his drums. And so I thought I would play it for you all. I just think that this drum is going to be super handy when it comes to Qigong as well. So like when we're doing shaking movements and fully releasing the body, imagine. About a week after Cuesta, my family traveled to Arizona. And we went to this particular vortex in Boynton Canyon, which was really memorable and special to me because a year prior, Callum and I had visited Sedona for the first time, and we spent around 6 hours at the same location. And so it felt really magical for everything to come full circle and to experience it this time with a few more people. And so afterwards, we went to the town center. Sedona is very famous for having a lot of intuitive people chilling inside its borders. And so lots of signs for psychics, tarot readers, etc. None of us got a reading though, we were just vibing. And then the next day, we headed over to the Grand Canyon. We rimmed the Grand Canyon, the Southern Trail, and that was really phenomenal. I had not been to the Grand Canyon since I was a child, and this was my mom's first time and Callum's first time as well. And so it was like seeing it for the first time again for me, too. To be honest, this was another one of those moments when I felt extremely small and insignificant, but it wasn't overwhelming. It actually felt pretty peaceful. There was a lot to see, a lot to learn, a lot to explore, and I think that we did the best that we could with the time that we had there. My favorite part of the day was when we had a picnic right before we left the park and we encountered some deer and we got to watch them drink from a nearby faucet. After our last night in Arizona, we made our way back to Albuquerque for the last time. And on the way back, we stopped at the Petrified Forest. This national park is famous for all the petrified wood that resides here. And so essentially, millions of years ago, this was a forest, and then it turned into like a swamp. And after the swamp era, the trees were pulled under, they were knocked over, and the wood reacting with the water, in addition to a bunch of minerals, crystallized the wood. But don't quote me on that. Another fun fact, though, is that metaphysically, petrified wood is known to help bring patience and grounding to the people who work with it. And I just think it's really cool to see firsthand how that connection is made. The petrified wood was formed over thousands of years, which shows that good things definitely take time. And it's a tree, so of course it's going to be grounding. Hello.
Hello.
We then waddled our way over to view some petroglyphs, which are very, very old rock carvings, as you can see. And this site is called Newspaper Rock because of all the different carvings that are accumulated in this area. Of course, we had to take a second for photo ops.
The artist and his art.
I mean, come on. Look how beautiful this place is. They call this area the Painted Desert, and it makes a lot of sense why. By the end of our trip, we were filled with many beautiful memories, pictures, but left with one nagging question. Why is she running?